Welcome to the Light Seekers Lounge. I'm Annie Love, a coach, mum to all boys, and your host for soulful conversations about building a life and a business that feel good from the inside out. Here we talk about mindset, money, and what it means to keep seeking the light and finding joy, even when life or business feels hard. So sit back and settle in. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to the Light Seekers Lounge. I'm Annie Love, and this is episode 126. Considering I am a coach, I feel like I haven't really talked a lot about coaching in the past, 125 episodes or so. So today I thought I would share from the perspective of becoming a coach and having worked with a number of coaches over the years, and what I would recommend you consider before you invest in a coach. Now, full disclaimer, I think coaching can be really powerful and I wholeheartedly believe in it, but I do also think it's important to go in with eyes wide open so that you can get the most out of the experience. Now, for a bit of context, I studied to become a life coach through the Beautiful You Coaching Academy, which I absolutely loved, and it's a really amazing community led by a wonderful woman by the name of Julie Parker. I finished my coaching course at the end of 2019, and in my first couple of years of working with clients, I focused on coaching around self-care for mums. But I soon realised that I especially loved working with the women who had their own businesses. So from there, I took all I'd learned from my business degree and building our IT business and pivoted into business coaching. In 2023, I saw the benefit of profit first in my own business, and I knew that assistance with business finances would be really beneficial for my clients too. It felt like a bit of a missing puzzle piece. So I made the decision to become a certified profit first professional. So now I call myself a holistic business coach and profit first mentor. In my years since first becoming a life coach, I have noticed that pattern in many other coaches too. Learning the coaching skills is extremely valuable, but pairing that with existing experience or further learning is where the real magic is. Sometimes it takes us a little while to find the sweet spot and know how we can best support our clients. So, what is a coach? Well, my AI friend says a life coach is a supportive guide who helps you get clear on what you want, overcome the things holding you back, and take confident, aligned action. They're not there to give you all the answers, but to ask powerful questions, hold you accountable, and help you reconnect with your own wisdom. With a mix of mindset tools, goal setting, and real-life strategy, a great coach empowers you to move forward with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Unlike a therapist who focuses on past issues and mental health, a life coach works with clients in the present, helping them discover their potential, overcome blocks, build confidence, and create a more fulfilling future. There you go. I think that was a pretty good wrap-up. Okay, so with all that in mind, let me walk you through what I think you need to consider before hiring a coach. There have definitely been times over the past 6 years where I have stared at the website of a coach I admired, feeling both excited and also slightly panicked, knowing that I'd really love to work with them, but wondering, is this the best decision for me? Can I afford it right now? Is this the right time? Etc., etc. All the questions. I know that I have learned valuable lessons from each coach I have worked with. However, I would say that some experiences have been more beneficial than others, and that is purely because of where I was at going into the coaching container and what I brought with me. But what I'm going to do now is just talk you through some questions that I would ask yourself before investing in a coach, and hopefully that will help you make a really balanced, well-grounded decision. So the first question I would encourage you to ask yourself is, what do I actually want support with right now? And, there are coaches out there for all sorts of things, from health coaches to finance coaches to mindset coaches and lots of different kind of phases of life that they can support you with. So I would really ask yourself, what do I want support with right now? And this comes with a bit of a disclaimer because I know that, I've watched clients who have come to work with me who have come in with a really distinct outcome that they're looking for. And actually, when they start coaching, it kind of ends up changing along the way or evolving. So they might come to me for one thing and not end up kind of working on that particular area, but it's the exploration that happens along the way that's important. But I do think it's important to think about what it is that you want support with. And secondary to that, I would say, am I looking for a coach to support me or save me? I know that's a big question. Coaching is not a magic pill, unfortunately. If we go into a coaching container from a place of desperation or scarcity, or using it as a last-ditch effort to save some facet of our life or our business, we are likely to leave disappointed. So I'd invite you to question the why behind the urge to hire a coach. Is there an area of your life or business that you feel you would benefit from support in or want to learn more about? Are you feeling pressured in any particular way? Is there any actual urgency to make the decision? Take a moment to pause, to breathe, to check in into your body and see how you're feeling. And think about whether you're acting from fear or comparison or a pressure to keep up. Or are you feeling really aligned in this decision? Think about what you feel like you need support with and give yourself a reasonable time frame to make the decision without rushing. If it still feels as important in 24 hours or a few days or a week, then it will feel like a much more grounded place to make a decision from. It can also be valuable to have a neutral accountability buddy to help talk through the decision with. So, second question, probably along similar lines, but thinking about how you're going into this coaching container. And the question is, am I ready to be coached or am I hoping someone will fix it for me? So, coaching works best when you are an active participant in your transformation. It is totally normal to want someone to come in, wave a magic wand and sort out the chaos, whether it's your finances, your business model, mindset, or life direction. I'm sure we've all had those just tell me what to do moments, right? But here's the thing. A coach isn't a fixer, a rescuer, or a guru. They're a facilitator of change, but you are the one actually doing the changing. Coaching works best when you take responsibility for your growth without guilt or perfectionism. It works best when you show up curious and willing to explore new perspectives. When you stay open to feedback, experimentation, and the discomfort that comes with growth. And most importantly, it works best when you trust your own power to create results, with the coach walking beside you, not ahead of you, holding the map. If you are hoping that a coach will simply give you the answers, tell you what to do, or solve your problems for you, it can lead to a lot of disappointment or disempowerment down the line. On the flip side, if you're ready to co-create solutions, be lovingly challenged, and take messy, aligned action, you are much more likely to get way more out of the experience. It can be really powerful to have a coach in your corner, helping with accountability and momentum and getting out of your own head. I know I've totally had sessions with a coach where I've actually not really wanted to go because I'm so in my own head and everything feels overwhelming and I think I should have already had all the answers by now. But after going to that session and talking things out, I have felt so much more clear and able to map out a path forward. A coach who knows and understands you can help with guidance that is personalised to you, rather than having to fall down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos and generalized advice on the internet. A great coach will create the space where you can act as the highest version of yourself. And like, spoiler alert, that may not always feel particularly comfortable along the way, but it is really important to have that space where you can show up as that absolute best version of yourself. Question 3 is, am I in a financial position to invest in coaching without it creating panic or pressure? So here's where it gets super practical. Bring in the profit first allocations. So what percentage of your operating expenses is available for coaching? If you are a professional development junkie like I am, it could be really valuable to even have a separate bank account for learning and coaching that you're putting a percentage of money into all the time so that you know at a glance what you can afford to spend on coaching. Or maybe right now you are in a growth phase and you are deciding to dip into savings because you know there will be a return on your investment in the short term. In which case, it's a good plan to think about your goal for an ROI percentage and when you'll be able to return that money to the business. If you really can't afford to make the investment in coaching right now, and it would be stretching beyond your means, do seriously consider whether it would be worth the financial stress to do that. Are you dipping into savings or revenue that's meant for another area of your business, such as taxes, profit, or owner's pay, which might actually cause far more stress down the track? Could you start with a smaller investment, such as a course or a one-off session with the same coach? If you were the CFO of your business, which you kind of are, how would you advise yourself right now? Again, it might be good to run the decision past a neutral accountability buddy so that you can crunch the numbers and look at the investment from a logical point of view without the emotional or sense of urgency. Some common pitfalls that I see when people are choosing to invest in a coach are investing out of FOMO or fear of missing out, or scarcity, or wanting to be saved. They might buy before they're ready to take action and actually implement things. They might be choosing a coach based on popularity and flashy marketing instead of whether they feel aligned with that coach and their values. And another pitfall is overcoaching, or hopping from one coach or program to another, continuing to look for the silver bullet without actually taking action or integrating what they've learned so far. That is a very common one that I see. Always looking for the next, certification or training or answers or wisdom from another coach, rather than looking at the wisdom that we have already inside ourselves. So here are my top tips if you're looking for a coach. Think about what kind of coach would support you best right now. Gentle accountability or tough love? Structure or intuition? Now, there's no wrong answers to these, just what is most helpful for you. There are all sorts of coaches in the world, and you won't resonate with all of them, and that is completely okay. So I'd encourage you to look for a coach who aligns with your values, to look for testimonials or referrals, or ask someone you respect for recommendations of coaches in the area that you're looking for. I'd encourage you to find someone who respects your pace and your season of life. Now, a 20-something-year-old male might be an absolutely awesome coach, but he's probably not going to be the right fit for a new mum who is wanting coaching support in early motherhood. And finally, a vibe, a space that feels safe and empowering, not pushy or performative. Don't be afraid to ask questions of the coach that you're wanting to work with to make sure it's the right fit. If they offer discovery calls, book one in and have a chat. Even if they don't openly offer calls, you can still ask for one if that would make you feel more comfortable before making the decision. And lastly, I would encourage you to think about what success would look like for you at the end of your coaching experience. Paint a picture in your mind of the version of you who has completed the coaching. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What I know to be true is that you already have all the magic that you need already inside you. You don't need coaching to be worthy. You are already infinitely worthy just as you are. But sometimes the right support can unlock a part of you that's been quietly waiting to rise. One of my favorite sayings is that you can't read the label from inside the jar. It's really hard to see our own stuff, and sometimes having a supportive coach can really help you see your blind spots and help you work out a way to utilize and optimize that magic that's already inside you. Before you decide to invest in coaching, I encourage you to pause, to breathe, and to ask, what do I truly need right now? And how can I honor that? Diving into coaching can feel a bit nerve-wracking, any which way, or nerve-sighting, that mixture of nervous and excited. I totally get that. But I also know that the best coaching experiences come when you go in feeling like you've made a grounded decision and that you're ready to learn and to grow. I hope you have found this episode supportive. If you would like a list of questions you could ask a potential coach before working with them, let me know. I haven't actually made one, but I could totally do that if you would find it valuable. Of course, if you would love to chat to me about coaching with me, I would really love that too. You can book in a free call on my website at annielove.coach/chat or send me a DM on Instagram. I will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for being here in the Light Seekers Lounge with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I would so love it if you could share it, leave a review, or come and say hi to me over on Instagram at annielove.coach. Until next time, keep seeking the light.